Wake that up.
LA's #1 hip-hop morning show is Nick Cannon Mornings on Power 106.
All right, y'all, Nick Cannon Radio. You know how we do, man. It's time for another community conversation with one of, I don't even know how to explain it. We've talked to him several times, but we're going to just call him a family member because he's truly a community leader, truly an activist, truly a hip-hop icon, and someone who cares for his people. The one and only Tip, a.k.a. T.I. What's going on, Tip?
Salute and respect, bro. What's happening?
Man, it's so much going on, but it's good to talk to our community leaders. And when we say leaders, man, I know we've had the conversation about using that term and not using it loosely or lightly. But in these times where a year like 2020 has been one like no other, for you to step up to the plate on so many different levels, man. Like I've seen you step up in the streets. I've seen you step up for your city. But right now, what does leadership in a time of chaos, when the leadership in the White House clearly is not leading the country in the right direction, when the law enforcement and probably the lawmakers have really forsaken us when it comes to leadership, is it truly about taking care of our own at a time like this when your voice has always been prominent, but probably more now than ever?
I absolutely feel like it's about taking care of our own, and it's about, I think, it's about taking advantage of opportunities to learn new perspectives, and like everybody may have a different opinion of how to get to our destination, but we all on the same side, taking the same journey and fighting the same fight. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I feel like there are so many teachable moments for all of us in positions of leadership that we can take advantage of, man, and listening to the youth. The young generation has basically taken this movement and made it their own, and they've committed themselves and they've dedicated themselves to taking action. And I feel like for us, the best thing for our generation to do is just, find ways to support, wrap our arms around it, give direction and strategy where we can, and just keep standing in the gap. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like we could do best.
Indeed. So let's talk of distractions for a moment, because I feel like that's the thing when we trying to stand on our square and stay on task. There's so many distractions from, a lot of the rhetoric that's pushed out there, whether it's, people still chanting all lives matter, whether it's people even amongst our own communities talking about black on black crime, or even the idea of this new concept of black supremacy. Like, where does that energy of distraction actually even stem from, in your opinion? And then how do you deal with it? Because they come, like, we see it throughout the feed. It's like we all mad, but it's almost like we need to know where to gear our anger towards.
Okay, first of all, we need to be aware of the fact that we are up against a diabolical, dastardly a beast that has so many different options of how to attack us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have a multifaceted opponent. We have a diverse problem, which must be addressed with diverse answers. So the all lives matter shit, we already know, man. You have to kick that. You have to just ignore that.
Exactly.
The black on black crime, okay, that's a false narrative that has been perpetuated by white people to kind of take the heat off of them and to keep us quiet, so we won't speak up when we're being oppressed and mistreated. Black on black crime does not exist. Right. People kill people commit crimes around the people that they live around.
Yeah, in which they cohabitate. That's where crime occurs.
Absolutely. Where's the white on white crime? What's the rates of that? You know what I'm saying? What about the Mexican on Mexican crime? Where's the rates of that? Where's the Asian on Asian crime? Why is black on black crime the only group that is being monitored at such a high rate and being mentioned at such a high rate?
Right.
So we got to understand that those are false narratives. Those are put out to confuse us and to divide us. And we can't allow that to happen.
Right.
I think black supremacy, that's new.
That's a new one. That's another. That's a new one that they trying to throw at us.
Yeah, that's new. Okay, so for that to exist, you must have the privilege to come along with. Okay, white supremacy couldn't exist without the privileges and without
The
the tools
ability to oppress.
necessary, the ability to oppress. We don't have the ability to oppress. We don't have the tools. We don't have, the things that they have to even make that valid, to make that a valid point. So let's push that to the side. All these things are meant to divide
and distract.
And distract. So we got to push past that with what we know. All of these are question marks. What we know for a fact is how much our communities have been oppressed and deprived of our basic human rights for so long.
Yeah.
For so long. And we got to fight for what's right, man. And I think that right now, since we were all stuck in the crib, nothing to do, no sports, you know what I'm saying? Nothing else to pay attention to. So when we see these, when we see these injustices, they hit harder.
Yeah,
they hit harder. That's why now so many people are out in the streets, which is a phenomenal thing. But this is a perfect storm, and I don't think we could have asked for anything better to assist us in our efforts.
Right. Now, what's the energy in Atlanta? Because we've seen you at the press conference with Mayor Bottoms. We've seen you, as a leader, speak to your community and guide them in the proper direction. And then after that, we saw some more civil unrest and uprisings within the community. Currently, what's going on in Atlanta?
I mean, man, the same things that are going on everywhere else. We sick and tired and fed up with it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I think we just have to have strategic ways of releasing our energy.
Right.
We got to direct our energy towards something. You know what I'm saying? Towards something meaningful, towards something substantial that could actually benefit the movement and be progressive and instill some forms of systemic change.
Right.
I think that's what I took the press conference and the response to the press conference. I took it as an opportunity to learn more from the young organizers, the young, the young activists that have been mobilizing in the community on behalf of police brutality and other oppressive states that still exist here. Even though Atlanta is different from any other city, we still have our issues that must be addressed. And I feel like, for the leadership, or I guess what they call the elite leadership in Atlanta, we have to make sure we do a better job of giving our platforms to the people who out here doing the work day in and day out to get shit done.
There it is. And let's talk real quick. Man, I'm saying fuck law enforcement altogether. You know what I mean? Just even just the idea of
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, the term enforcement. The law is supposed to be upheld, not enforced. You know what I mean? And obviously, policing and police patrol came from slave patrols. So this idea of people who are not from our community coming over and overseeing us as we are property, it's an outdated concept, but it's also a racist and offensive concept. So again, we saying, if anything, let us protect our own communities. You know what I mean? And I know you're a true believer in taking care of your own. We've seen you exemplify that on many different levels. But when I say that, people say, man, you were too radical, and that abolitionist mindset could never work today. But we've seen we're people who've created our own economies. We're people who've created our own communities. Why wouldn't we be able to be a people who could take care of our own? And we understand law and order. We're not saying get rid of laws. We're just saying don't let you enforce your law upon us.
Yeah, I think I think what you talk about is a component of separatism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Give us our.
We want a divorce, goddammit. Y'all been beating us for too long.
Listen, that's not a new concept. You know what I'm saying?
That's Garveyism.
Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so many others have preached upon this concept.
Yeah, they used to call Georgia and all. They called that the New Republic of Africa at one point in time, where that was the whole concept. With you calling Atlanta Wakanda, all of that concept has always been like, yo, let's just give us Atlanta. That's us.
That's right. And I think that's what the point of my message at the press conference was.
Right.
After we get through, America has an incredible debt to pay.
Yeah.
we must make sure we allow karma to have its way with America in exchange for the dastardly deeds that have been done in the past. We must make sure that karma is directed towards America. However, we must protect the things that we still need to remain intact for when it's time to rebuild. And I think that Atlanta is I said Wakanda because I didn't want to say that we had inherited an infrastructure of a utopia that has been cast down from generation to generations. And right now, this is the example for the rest of the nation to look at when it comes to Black businesses, Black entrepreneurship, Black leadership, and political positions. As you just mentioned, Black people policing ourselves in our own communities. We have exemplified that. Although we are not perfect, and there's still some things that need to be addressed and need to be improved. But Atlanta has been the example for the rest of the city. For the rest of the nation to look to when it comes to how to deal with Black people.
Yeah. Now we on some Black Panther shit on some real talk. We created our own. We policing the police now, Tip. It's called the Black Ops Department. Now, if you go to blackopportunities.com, we have something stated called the Black Act, which we are trying to put forth as federal legislation, but it's truly everything from the I Can't Breathe Act, that if there is any law enforcement around and a person is saying that they administer help or that their health is in danger and nobody does nothing around it, all of them will be charged with a Class A felony. And if someone happens to die, unfortunately, they all go away for murder. So it's those type of things that legislation matters. But as somebody, and you and I have had this conversation off camera and everything, voting in community, is that something that you're pushing of 2020? Is that something that can really happen? Or do we got to go one step further than voting and create things like the Black Act and understand policy and legislation? Or is it just, I'm going to just sit back and when it's time to vote, hopefully my vote matters?
Again, we are dealing with a multifaceted attacker, okay? So we're being attacked so many different ways. We can't look to just one way to fix it. Yeah. It's gonna have to be some voting initiatives. It's gonna have to be some ideas of building our own. It's gonna have to be, some marching in the streets. It's gonna have to be other radical forms of action taken to oppose all of these different levels of actions that are being taken against us.
Right.
No one answer alone is gonna fix the problem that we see right here, right now.
Right.
I think that, one thing that we're pushing for in the city is a residence clause where an officer who's fresh out of the academy will have to live in a community for 6 months.
I love it.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have to live in the community for 6 months before they actually allowed to patrol in this community.
Right.
To give them some familiarity, some understanding of who's who and what's what. And to get them some skin in the game.
Right.
Most officers could care less what happened in these communities where they're patrolling because they don't have to be there. Right. They don't have to live there. They don't go to the store there. Right. You know what I'm saying? They don't sleep there. So I think that if you give officers a little more, how can I say, obligation, something that kind of holds them accountable
to that community.
We'll have a different approach to policing within our communities. Another thing that we're pushing is a citizens review board.
Right. Need that.
You know what I'm saying? A citizens review board to hold district attorneys as well as police chiefs as well as officers accountable. I think that, the more we can get our communities involved with the things that matter to our communities most, then I think the better shot we have at improving it.
There it is. Now, Tip, 2020, is this the revolution?
Shit, closest thing I've ever seen to
it. Absolutely. Now,
since the revolution has not been televised thus far, I don't know what it looked like. However, when I close my eyes and you say revolution, what I see right now is what comes to mind.
And knowing that you are one of the the voices leading the charge in this revolution. People look to you, and when you see other people in our community not speaking up, is that just another distraction, or we just keep charging, or how do we galvanize that energy?
Continue to push.
Really?
To, something that I can say that I find even less productive than not speaking is speaking against.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that a lot of times, a lot of our messages can be misconstrued, especially if we have, just a small time to speak.
Right.
However, you got to look into the person's heart. You got to look at their reputation. You got to look at what you know of them and how you know them to be and what you know them to represent. You know what I'm saying? If you find yourself misconstruing their messaging. But when people speak out in opposition of the movement, I feel that is, even more damaging than people who choose not to say anything at all. Because everything ain't for everybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? We don't all have the same views. We don't all have the same opinions of how to move forward or what's going to get us to our goal, but we all have the same fight. We all on the same journey. You dig what I'm saying? And we can't afford to necessarily lose no people. We ain't got them kinds of numbers to where we say, I see a lot of people saying we cancel. I feel like we need to have a lot more of we need a rehabilitative approach. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when we see each other, we see like, if people don't like
pull their coattails, pull them aside.
Be like, hey, Tip, what's up with that? I'm going to elaborate on my point. This is what I meant by that. Right. And if you don't see what I'm saying, then correct me. Say, nah, Tip, I think that was inaccurate because of this. And we can have an intelligent discussion. You can either change my mind, I can change your mind.
Right.
But we still move forward. You dig what I'm saying? Absolutely. I don't think dropping each other off is the answer all the time. Now, some severe cases.
Are some reasons to cancel somebody.
Like Candace Owens. She got to go. She can't come.
I think, come on, Tim, we can't.
She can't come.
You've had some head-to-head conversations with her.
Tell me, but no,
and you made her very quiet. You put her in her place, and that was needed.
That's when I was trying to do the things that I'm suggesting. I'm trying to correct her and show her where the inaccuracies lie.
Somebody hurt her, Tip. Somebody, I don't know where it happened, but somebody along the pathway.
In her rhetoric. I don't think she can. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think she paid Plant. I think somebody paid her to come out here and speak against everything that the majority of us is standing for.
Oh, she a double agent.
Every time it's time. She ain't never not a double agent. She's their agent.
Right.
She's their agent. She works for them.
Right. Okay.
You've never seen her at not one time. Never. Do you mean to tell me there is no injustice that you've ever seen happen on behalf of people of color that you could speak out for? There's never been. So white people are always right. You're telling me law enforcement is always right. Right. You're telling me the United States of America has always been right when it comes to dealing with us. And that's her story. Yeah. And you can't trust that story because we have facts that show us otherwise.
Right. Yeah, she just negates the facts. That's what I said. Somebody hurt her at some point in time. She makes it very emotional opposed to like sticking to the facts.
Listen, when this young lady was in college, this young lady had a racist, some kind of something happened to her, an attack, something happened to her.
Right.
And she called out to the community. And she got justice, I guess, in her case. Right. And ever since then, she seems to have forgotten that she's black.
Well, somebody gonna remind her. It's definitely gonna happen.
Well, look, though, I think she has turned in her black card and she's crossed over.
I still got hope for her though, man. I don't want to throw none of our sisters away.
I don't either, but I tell you what, you hold some hope in your hand on the left side and a pile of shit
on the other.
In the other hand, and see which one of them fills up faster. You dig what I'm saying? I just,
always with the gyms. Always with the
hey,
gyms.
man. Hey, look, man. I really truly feel like everyone has a place and a purpose in the movement, as long as you have some level of empathy, some level of understanding, some level of consideration.
Yes.
For the plight our people are facing. If the only thing you ever have to say, every time you have a chance to speak, the only thing you ever have to say is speaking against us.
Yeah. You're right.
I don't know what we could do. Terry Crews is another one.
Oh, we can't throw Terry away. He just
I'm
needs
not
some
gonna-
guidance. He just needs some guidance.
Guidance. Whoa, listen. Wait a minute.
He trying to keep
I'm
his
still
job,
waiting
Tip.
I'm still waiting on Terry Crews to speak on behalf of, because, okay, what he doing is he's speaking against the community. Well, not against. He's trying to instruct the community to not be so harsh as it pertains to dealing with white supremacy.
Yeah.
They saying this fight without white folks becomes black supremacy. We can't have black supremacy because we don't have the tools to oppress.
Indeed. I think it's just, that's what I'm saying. Those are the distractions. Those are Candace Owens, Terry Crews. Those are distractions. We got to stay on message, stand on our square, because we got too much work to do.
I'm just giving you two examples. And
all we can do is love them and keep marching. Let them go to the back of the line.
Man, look, man. See, the thing about that, okay, did a white man kill Malcolm X?
Nah. Well, I mean, the white infrastructure killed Malcolm X, but the actual dude who pulled the trigger, it was a black man.
They use black people to do it, right?
Right.
Okay, so the people who you think they're gonna come to first, the ones who they feel like are most receptive to their
great point.
The opportunity.
Great point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about a racist white man catching me in the streets and killing me. I'm worried about a racist white man who can convince a black man standing next to me already to kill me.
That's powerful.
You dig what I'm saying?
That's powerful.
So that's why I feel like we can't afford to cancel anybody, but when people show us who they are, we must believe them.
Yeah. We got to quarantine them.
When they continue to show.
We quarantine them.
When they have made a history
right
of showing us who they are.
Nah, you're 100% right, Tip. I cannot disagree with you. And that's why I say right now, you always drop the gems on us. We got to hit you with that. This is a different type of firing squad, though. This is that revolutionary firing squad. I got to ask Tip some real questions. You answer them however you do best, because I know this is come on, man, you always dropping gems, so I know I'm going to get some good game and some wisdom out of this. Now, when it comes to the state that we're in right now, they said there's only two emotions. There's love and fear. As a people, how should we be operating right now, Tip? Should we be operating out of love, or should we be operating out of fear? Because if they fear us, they're going to respect us. They're going to give us what we want. If we love, it's kumbaya, everybody can join the party together. Love or fear? Which way? How you leading?
I disagree with those two options.
Oh, you think there's other options?
Those are the two options.
Oh, Rick.
I don't think those are the only two options.
What?
You know what I'm
Please
saying?
give me the game. We were just going off of what Nico Machiavelli said, where he was like, if you can't be loved, then you might as well be feared.
First of all, I feel like love conquers all.
Right.
I'm just be honest with that.
Okay.
But love comes with consequence. You dig what I'm saying?
Facts.
You can't just love your way out of an oppressive state. I don't think.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Real.
I feel like you must create leverage.
We've been trying that.
Leverage.
Right.
You must create the sort of leverage, which we are now doing. We're doing that right now.
Absolutely.
And I think that, but fear, to me, I don't think fear and faith can exist in the same place.
Okay. Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So if you're fearful, then you've done away with your faith.
Right.
And while I know that we are outnumbered, we outgunned, we out strategized, because they have already, they've been pushing pieces on this chessboard far before we even knew we were engaging in a game.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's been a silent war waged against our people and our communities far before we ever knew what was going on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the one thing I think that we have on our side is God can only fight with one of us. So
that's game.
If we show up with love in our heart and faith in our heart and no fear in our heart, and God is with us, we ain't really got to do nothing. If everybody do a little, nobody has to do a lot. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. That's game. Always with the game. What's the best piece of advice T.I.'s ever received?
Man, I don't know, man.
Cause you always dropping gems. I still be wondering where you get it from.
That's tough. I mean, man, for real, conversations.
Yeah.
Just being in so many different environments, man, from prison to the trap to the corner offices to, you know, in rooms with politicians, in rooms with entrepreneurs, and engaging and seeing like how people are thinking and feeling about society and about our communities. I learn more conversing with other people than I have by reading a book or studying anytime. I saw that Lecrae posted something and I reposted it because it was so profound. He said, man, when it seems like nothing is working, God is.
Ooh. That's powerful.
You dig what I'm saying?
That's powerful right there. That's game right there.
I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna say that's the best piece of advice I've had, you know, at least for the last 24 hours.
There it is. Worst piece of advice that T.I.'s ever received.
The worst piece of advice. Not to do it. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, man, we all have ideas, man. Ideas that the universe or our higher power have put on our minds, hearts, and souls to do, to carry out our mission, right? And we get these ideas, and the first thing we do is we go to the people around us and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think?
Right.
And of course, the first thing they say is, man, what? You gonna do? Nah, man, you can't do that. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. That sounds crazy.
Right.
They are translating their fears and failures onto us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But it's not out, like, our visions are for us. Our visions are for us to carry out. That's what God and the universe put on our spirit, because we were the ones sent here to carry out the vision. And if we go to somebody else and it ain't their vision, they're not gonna see it. So if we listen to them, we fuck. So that's the worst advice I've ever been given. Not to do it. That I can't do it.
There it is. All right, now what's if you had to say T.I.'s greatest accomplishment?
Man, my children.
Wow.
My children.
That's powerful. Best bar T.I.'s ever spit.
Man, shit. I'm gonna tell you what, you know what I'm saying? This, you know, for my first album that always comes up in conversation. And that's to Play Me, Baby. Hey, he gonna need a track from God featuring Jesus and
Jay-Z.
That's one that continuously comes up. But the more I think, the more I'll remember.
Yeah, man, you got so many. So we ending it like this, Firing Squad. We always appreciate your time and effort. But as somebody who's built such a legacy, what's the one word when it's all said and done that would describe T.I.?
Prolific.
There it is. Hey, that's a true sentiment right there. Ain't nothing but wisdom. This has been another up close and personal community conversation, a revolutionary conversation with the prolific T.I.
Love and respect, bro. Salute to all you doing, man.
Likewise, man. Keep going. We in this fight together, my brother.